Welcome to Chatting with Wisdom, Courageous Conversations. So I'm your host, Gigadomi Gunkwe, which means Talking Feather One, and I'm also known as Rolia Lair. And I'm honored to have you join me in this conversation today. So in this episode, we're going to explore managing stress creatively. Stress is something that we all encounter, but today we're going to explore some unique and imaginative ways to approach it through creative expression, movement, and other unconventional methods, so that can actually help bring calm and clarity to our lives. So I'd love for you to join me live in this part of the conversation and be part of the conversation. So by clicking the StreamYard link, wherever it is that it is in your conversation, so you can come up on screen and share your insights. And together we'll explore how creativity can be a powerful tool for stress relief. So take a deep breath and settle in, and let's jump into today's courageous conversations on managing stress creatively. And let's get started. So I am super excited to be here again today. And so I should have been here on Thursday, but I was traveling and it just did not pan out for me to be able to come on last Thursday. So this is the blog post that was connected to last Tuesday. So for those of you who go in and read the blog posts every Tuesday, there's a new blog that has a different conversation and a different topic. And so this is for the Tuesday blog post of September. What day are we today? The 26th. So it would be the 17th. So it would be the blog post of September 17th that I shared about managing stress creatively. So for those of you who are interested, there is a handout that we can share with you. So everything that we're actually talking about is all of the different ways that we can actually be creative. So I've got a script that I'm going to follow just to give us a little bit of a guideline, so that I can try and stay on topic and on task. But part of my conversations always ends up being a little bit off script. So reading on script is not always the easiest for me to do, because then I get that nervousness of like, oh man, I've read that wrong. And so I really do try and have an actual conversation. So for if you are wanting to join, whether it's this one or the next one, when I'm on live, then I would be more than happy to have you come up on screen and we can share the conversation during that time. So today we're talking about some innovative approaches to managing stress. So we all have stress. There is nobody in the world that doesn't have stress. Some of us can manage stress better than others, but we all experience stress. And so there are different ways of us being able to do this. And so what I want to be able to do with this particular podcast is just finding ways that can actually help you manage stress a little bit more effectively. So I'm going to move my screen over here so that I'm not overlooking. Okay, so first thing is, what is creative stress management? So what does that mean? So that means that it is an easier way to managing our stress. So like instead of just doing traditional ways of navigating stress, this allows us to be able to have a different way of like, how else can we navigate stress? How else can we make things easier in the way that we manage stress? And so I just noticed something fell off my wall. I have some things that I have to be doing. So why creative methods are effective? So creative activities activate different brain parts. So it allows us to be able to have different ways of actually being able to navigate our the patterns and kind of reshifting whatever it is that is causing us stress. And so understanding, so what is stress and how does it affect us? So stress affects our body very much, and so it affects our health. The increased cortisol levels really make it so that it is difficult for us to have difficulty with sleeping, burnout, fatigue. There's a long and prolonged stresses can actually make it even that much more difficult. So for some of us, we live in a state of stress on a regular basis. So we need to find ways to be able to navigate how to decrease that. So high blood pressure, is another one. A weakened immune system is another one. Insomnia. So a lot of people that have difficulty with sleeping, a lot of times the underlying cause of that is stress. And so common sources of stress. So family responsibilities, health challenges, societal pressures. Acknowledging these stresses is crucial. And so you may have a very stressful job that you really enjoy, but it doesn't mean that that's good for you. So how else can you navigate it? What else can you be doing to be able to help it not be as intense on your body or on your system? And how can you actually find ways? So like if you really love your job and you're not going to want to change it, but it is very stressful, find out how to find ways to be able to navigate through that stress is going to be really important for you to be able to do. So creative expression as a stress reliever. So we're going to talk about that in particular. So the role of art, music, and movement. So creative expression allows for nonverbal emotional release. So painting, dancing, music, and any other artistic form. So like if you play music, that's beautiful. But if you don't play music, listening to music is another way of being able to relieve that stress. One of the things that I use often is music that has chanting. So something that allows me to have like the repetitive sound of being able to clear energy. And so, or just using the drum, right? So just the beat of the drum just allows us to be able to release that energy. Whatever it is that works for you. I will have people that will say, "Oh, but I'm not a painter." It doesn't matter. So just close your eyes and paint if you need to, or just turn on some music and just allow it to happen, right? So it doesn't have to be something that is going to turn into Mozart, or isn't going to turn into um, a an incredible painter that has those qualities. It can just simply be whatever it is that you need to do. So I often will take crayons. I am not a painter, I am not a drawer, but when I actually just allow myself to focus and just draw whatever it is that comes forward, oftentimes I end up with some imagery of something that is totally incredible, that it's like, oh, look at that, there's a face in there. Oh, look at that, there's like this is happening in here. And so it's just a matter of just allowing it to free flow. It doesn't have to be anything perfect, it doesn't have to be anything um in any sense of the word of how it is going to be perfect. It is just simply just allowing yourself to be able to go through that experience without having this mindset of having to have it perfect. And that is super, super important for us to be able to remember, is it's not about perfection. It's about being able to get it done. So art as therapy. So a canvas for emotional release. So what is art therapy? So art therapy is a therapeutic technique that uses creative expression to help individuals process their emotions and mental health challenges. It blends psychotherapy with the healing powers of artistic activities. So creating art allows us to be able to have that allows us to be able to externalize our emotions. And so that is something that I was just talking about, is like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something that you just allow it to flow. And so it just gives us that ability, or that power of just being able to just release whatever it is that we have going on. So the universal, then the next one is music and movement. And so I love chakra dance. So chakra dance is a licensed program that I teach that allows you to be able to flow through in a rhythm that allows you to be able to release whatever it is that you have going on. So it's not about having perfection. It's just simply allows you to be able to move through the rhythms of whatever it is that's going on, with specific sounds and music and rotations of things that are going on. So Dance is music. So dance and movement are emotional outlets. And so just being able to crank up the tunes and dance to whatever it is that you enjoy dancing to is really all that matters as well. And so just, um, huh, I've been away and then I came home and I was sick. And so, like, there's a whole bunch of things that are like a little off on my desk. So, anyway, but just being able to have this energy, so dance, movement, and emotional outlets. So, like, just really important for us to be able to go through that. So, another really great tool or technique is writing. So, journaling. So, journaling is one of those techniques that if we just simply um, write as we are, write whatever it is that we're feeling. So, there's like structured journaling that you can do, or there's just free flowing journaling, and just allowing yourself to have the ability to just be able to write. So, depending on what it is that's going on for me, so journaling, I will actually do both in terms of guided journaling. So, like reflecting on something specific about what it is that I want to be able to bring into um, I want to be able to highlight, or sometimes I'm just simply writing, just whatever it is that comes to mind. But one of the things that's really important is that whichever technique that you're using, is that you don't focus on the spelling, you don't focus on the grammar. It is just simply a task of just writing, and if you can do paper to pen, pen to paper, that is from a psychological perspective. There are a lot of studies that actually show that that is a really good way of being able to have that practice. And so, just whatever it is that works for you, right? So we've talked about a number of different things already. And so, like, it really doesn't make any difference as to whatever it is that is less stressful, right? So, crafting, gardening, and other hands-on hobbies. So for people who like to do so crafting, knitting, pottery, woodworking, they all require focus and mindfulness. You have to be able to stay in the present, unless, of course, you're like one of those knitters or crocheters that can sit there and watch a movie and like never miss a beat. And so I know that when I do that for a while, then it generally becomes um, very simple for me to be able to do. But initially, it's like practicing. Like, I haven't really done crocheting or knitting in some time. So then it's like I have to remember, okay, which one is purl, which one is right. So, like, all those different techniques that are necessary. So it really brings me back into focus. And then when it becomes habit, then it's very easy. My mom can sit there and just crochet or knit without even thinking, because she's able to just do that while because it's just something that she does on a regular basis. Gardening. So gardening is a grounding practice. And so for some of us, time of the year, we're moving into that, it's not going to happen. But it is just really important for us to be able to still be in the dirt, be in that grounding. And so being able to have our hands flowing into the dirt. So over the next couple of days, when we can make sure that there's like not a whole lot more rain happening, I have to dig out all of the potatoes in our garden. But I know that that was one of the things that was really helpful over the course of the summer, was being able to like put the dirt out and getting all of that done, going and like picking out the weeds in the garden was something that was really, really helpful in terms of like just being able to just do some mindful practices that didn't allow me to have to think about anything other than just being in that space and in that time. This is the time of the year, as we kind of gear up to a little bit more into October, November, where baking is a really great stress reliever for me. So just being able to do that baking and just doing those kinds of things allow me. So I do the gardening in the summertime and then the baking in the wintertime. And they're just two ways of just being able to just kind of go in without. And so I know that one of the practices that I used to do when my boys were little is that every Saturday, until life got busy, every Saturday we would do baking. And so like that was one of the things that we would do is just bake. But one of the things that I do love to do is prepare meals for my family. So whenever it is that we have an opportunity to be able to do that, that is something that I love to do. So yesterday, for example, I was feeling a little bit better. I'm not 100% better, but I was able to prepare a meal for my family. And so that is a stress reliever. That is something that is very, so long as my kitchen is clean. If my kitchen's not clean, that just causes me a whole lot of other stress. But I start off with cleaning the kitchen if it needs to be, and then I move into that part. So exploring new hobbies. So finding things that will allow you to be able to shift. So that is something else that is really, really important for us to be able to do is find other ways of doing something. So if somebody has a hobby and you're like, oh, that one sounds kind of interesting, then explore it. Check it out. See whether or not it's something that can help you relieve some stress. So I am not a beader. And so a lot of my friends do beading, and that just stresses me even more. My cousin has a knack for beading. And so she can pretty much do it with her eyes closed. And that is not something for me that I'm able to do. So exploring new hobbies is one of the things. Humor and laughter is stress relievers. So the power of laughter is huge. It releases endorphins, reducing stress and tension in the body. And so if you can actually have the opportunity to be able to just laugh, go and find those people who you can actually connect with that just help you laugh, and find that time to be able to be in that space and in that moment of just being relaxed. And so that is something else that we are able to do as well. And so meditative arts, Tai Chi, yoga, Qigong. And so anything that allows us to be able to just move with our body. Now, one of the practices that I use is Yoga Nidra, which requires no movement at all, which is really awesome. And so like when I've attended yoga classes where there has been movement, one of the things that people will say, oh, can we just be in Shavasana for the whole hour? And that's one of the things that I love with Yoga Nidra. And that's one of the things that I do facilitate is Yoga Nidra sessions where we simply just lay down for an entire hour. And it is delightful. I really enjoy being able to get into that full meditation, and we get to be going through like this guided journey of wherever it is that it needs to take us in that particular meditation. But being able to do Tai Chi, yoga, or Qigong in the movement sense is still definitely something that is a wonderful tool to be able to use. So I have all of these in a handout form. So like if you are looking for a handout, then please let me know. So go to my website, rollialaire.ca. So ROLLIEALLAIRE.ca, and just go into the chat version of the on the website, and it'll allow you to be able to chat with myself or with Grace, and we will make sure that you'll be able to get this handout, because I think that this is really helpful. So there are a number of different ways of being able to do this. So we're talking about Yoga Nidra and that visualization. So being able to use visualization is also something that is very, very helpful in terms of being able to help us with being able to release stress. And so it just has a calming power for us to be able to just allow, but we have to work on being able to let go. And so long as we can let go, that is something that is extremely, extremely helpful for us to be able to do. Social creativity. So the power of group activities. And so I am all for group activities. So pretty much everything that I do encompasses a group activity. And the reason why I do that is because I know the power of connection. I know that the power of community makes huge impact on our lives. And so long as you are within the correct community, and I mean correct for you. So if you are in the correct community, then you will actually have the ability to be able to do great things together, where you guys support each other, where it really helps you guys get into where it is that you need to be and how it is that you need to go. And so for those of you who've been listening, what I would like to do is invite you to share, what creative approach to stress management do you use? Which ones work for you? And share them, and so that other people have, because maybe there's something that I've talked about that it hasn't even touched something that you do. And so I would really like to invite you to share, what practices have you used, that you use, and will you use to be able to relieve the stress in your life. So on that note, Gigoro Migwen Kwe here, signing off for until next week. And so for this coming week's, so actually today is September 26th. So I'm doing this on September 26th. So I am an entire week late of being able to share these thoughts. So on Tuesday, September 24th, was a blog post. And so based on that topic, I will be back on Saturday, September 28th, just because I want to be able to get caught up on these. So like I started these at the beginning of, so on September 12th, and I just really want to be able to continue with these conversations, with these blog posts. So I am looking forward to connecting with you, and I will chat soon. Bye for now.